All right, Two Planker Podcast. We're back in the RV. Today's guest is Dom Pucherelli. And Dom, thank you for being here, dude.
Yes, sir.
So, Dom is the first person I personally know that rides for Icelandic. And I was talking to Ryan. I'm like, dude, I think we got to do an episode. So, Dom, here you are, dude.
Here I am. Here we all are.
Yeah.
Mount Hood.
So how would you describe yourself? Like, if you were going to be like, hey, here's a quick snippet of me, like, what do you describe yourself as?
Man, that's tough. I'd probably say always down for the cause, man. Help out somebody trying to get clips, somebody trying to progress, just always trying to be positive. Yeah. Stay in the scene, yeah.
Yeah. Fair Play Colorado, sponsored by Icelandic, housing inspector, engaged, right?
Yep, all the above.
Dude, hell yeah. So, like we were saying before, I think this episode is going to be like just a different route into the ski life. Like you got a job, but you're also still super involved with skiing. So I think it's going to be a good role model for, just another template for how to make it work. And, yeah. What do you think of that? Do you feel like you have a non-traditional path in skiing?
Yeah, I would definitely say so. Grew up in Colorado. I grew up in the time when Colorado was the mecca. Park skiing, way different than it is now, but there's still obviously a scene there. So grew up surrounded by that. My younger days, did a lot of racing. Always was watching the park scene. Just used racing basically to get me to the mountain. And then obviously real quick transition into everything else. Big mountain riding, park riding. Yeah. And from there, man, it was just something I had to do every week, many days in as you possibly could.
Yeah. Dude, so you were born in '93, so you were like 5 years old when free skiing was born.
Dude, I definitely grew up in a different era. Like, I straight remember buddies with VHS tapes of ski videos. Yeah. Let alone the DVDs. Now it's a whole different world of just getting a 3-second clip. People are hyped on, but I come from, the full movies, the full edit kind of days.
Yeah. Do you remember like some of the first videos that you watched on those VHS tapes?
Dude, what is it? Shanghai 6, a lot of those old ones, dude, but definitely where I got hooked was I got Every Step DVD. That's where those guys hooked me. Every day is a Saturday. Yeah. Dude, like if those were tapes, I would have ran them out, trying to rewind them.
Dude, yeah, so you said we were talking about step movies last night.
Yeah, because we met Shay Flynn, dude.
Because we met Shay Flynn, second episode in a row that we're talking about it. We met Shay, dude. We're all shook about it. But you said that you went to all the step premieres, so I want to hear a little bit about that. Dude. Yeah.
Well, what I remember is they were a blast, dude. It was something to look forward to every year, right? We'd rip down from, even from Gunnison one time, but basically a couple hours we're about to Boulder. Yeah. Go see those premieres. It was unreal, dude, what those guys are doing. Even by today's standards, right?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. How old were you at the time of those premieres?
Oh, I don't know, man. Probably 18-ish, somewhere in there.
So you were like around the same age as those guys?
Close,
approximately?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Close, for sure.
Dude, do you remember anything in particular? I've heard that they were just like held on the Boulder campus. Is that true?
Held? Like...
Yeah, like they would do the premiere and like rent out like a lecture hall.
Oh, dude, I think they did a couple. I know they did some like smaller ones at like homies' houses, and then there was ones at like full theaters.
And you went to the full theater ones?
Yeah, yep.
Anything
it was just
stand
rowdy,
out?
dude. It was just rowdy.
Yeah.
It was just cool seeing all those guys, dude, and obviously they were going nuts. Like, they're either in the front or the back, just going ham. But everybody was, dude, because they're on a whole different level.
Yeah, dude. So
hard bodies, dude, all of them across the board.
Yeah, and they're kind of local heroes for you guys. No, they're all done. It's actually a mix of like East Coast kids, but they were doing all their premieres in Boulder when they were going to school there. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, man. All of those guys were in Colorado based, so it was cool. You run into them at the mountains. Like I said, back in the good old Keystone Breck days, big parks, like you're just standing up there with those guys. It's like, yeah, I could be like that one of these days.
Yeah. Tell everybody about the old days of Summit, because I remember I caught the tail end of it, dude. The older kids at my mountain, they moved out to Summit. I'm talking like Kirk Scully, Lupe. They're posting pictures from A51. Dude, and then one day, out of the blue, it was like those parks got erased from the face of the earth, and everyone left.
It did happen quick, it seems like.
Yeah.
Just like one mountain after another. Obviously now, as far as Colorado goes, Copper, took that clientele over, and that was a good move on their part. But those old days, man, I mean, the pro jumps at Breck, at Keystone were just insane. Seeing people throw down on that. You'd be standing up there with Olympians, dude. It's insane.
Yeah.
Everything was built so perfect. Jumps higher than the fucking lifts.
Yeah.
But those were the days. It was so sick. And all those features at that time, it's like, oh man, I'll never be able to hit that. And then all of a sudden, a couple years go by, man, lapping those parks.
Yeah.
It's insane.
So you grew up in Denver?
I was born in Denver, but I grew up in the foothills in Bailey, Colorado.
Bailey.
Yep.
Okay. I feel like that sounds familiar for some reason.
Bailey, dude. South Park. You seen the TV show?
Yeah.
It's right there. I live in true South Park area now, where the show's based off of, but grew up just over the pass from that.
Yeah. So when you were growing up, were the parks popping off?
Definitely, dude.
Yeah.
Definitely. And honestly, I wish I should have shuffled how I ran through my life, basically. But I wish I would have stayed in some a little bit longer, because those parks were popping. But I ended up going to school in Crested Butte, which dope ass mountain. They had an awesome park scene when I first got out there. Sponsored by DC, lots of money going in the park, like insane. And then that was another one overnight over the summer, right?
Yeah.
Just fell off. Another one, but it's still a fun mountain. I mean, hindsight, I wouldn't do it any other way. It was a great time out there.
What causes that just sudden destruction of a park? Like change in ownership or what?
Yeah, change in ownership. Basically the owner's priorities, man. Like they just don't. I never understood it with Crested Butte. They have ballin' mountain, insane steeps, get insane snow, insane backcountry to snowmobile in, insane across the board. It's like, just why can't we have a place that has insane mountain and an insane park, and just like nobody can figure it out. It just like kind of goes through waves,
Yeah.
of just back and forth with that.
Well, they lost sponsorships. They lost their
sponsorships.
sponsorship in the CB park, which was on the backside of the mountain.
Yeah.
Golden Lake Lift. RIP.
Yep. RIP.
But we had it when we
They had a super pipe there. Olympians were training there. Aaron Big Air Blunk.
Training there.
Yeah, Torin.
Pipe at Crested Butte.
Yeah, dude, shout out both those guys. They were always there ripping. That's where they, like, it's insane to think about now, because all they have is like some little snowboarder cross courses, but
Yeah.
it had its time.
Yeah.
And they did the first X Games there way back. Way back, dude.
First X Games was at Crested Butte.
Isn't that insane?
Super long course.
Like, that gives you an idea.
Rail jump kind of thing. It was crazy. There's still old footage of it on YouTube.
Yeah, VHS.
Yeah, I forgot to mention at the beginning of this episode, we got Barkley in the cut.
What's up, guys?
We got Twan in the cut. We got Ryan in the cut. So we're amassing a small audience in this RV every show. But dude, after the Barkley episode, this is for sure the most that we've talked about Crested Butte ever on the show.
Yeah.
And it's also definitely the most we're ever going to talk about Western Colorado.
Yep.
So being from Colorado and being already in an awesome ski scene at a time where that scene was probably at its peak, what were you thinking when you finished high school and you're like, oh, I want to go to school, I want to keep skiing? I mean, it seems kind of obvious that you're going to stay where the skiing's at, which at the time is luckily your home state.
Yep. I pretty much narrowed. I knew I wanted to stay in Colorado. A lot of my family's there. Again, in hindsight, I wish maybe I would have went up to like Bozeman or something and then came back to Colorado, but love Colorado. It's in my blood. I knew that I wanted to stay there, so it was, honestly, for me, it was Western State, business degree, whatever I could scrape up, or Alamosa, Fort Lewis.
Where the hell's that?
That's down like Durango. It's like kind of southern Colorado, but I want to do snowcat mechanics there. Those are my two. Figured I wouldn't get very far in snowcat mechanics, but I like equipment and all that stuff. I do construction on the side, so that's my second extra way of making some money.
Yeah.
But so that was kind of, even at a young age, I was kind of in the construction industry, so both those back and forth, wound up in Gunnison, and it was awesome out there.
Yeah. You seem like a practical guy. Were you going to school, like, some people go to school just because, like, oh yeah, like first of all, I want to go skiing, so I'm gonna go where the skiing is, and then I guess I'll do classes. Like, did you have a mission going to school?
Yeah, I 100% went to school for skiing, and I just skated through, and it worked out. I got my degree, which is awesome. I'm glad I accomplished it, but I definitely went for skiing, and yeah, there's just a lot of partying along the way. It was just, I would have tried to. I probably would have tried to learn a little bit more than just try to skate through, but we did it.
It's a sick time though. Think about all those games and events that happened in that valley.
Yeah, it's a cool area.
Sick. Shout out to Colorado Free Skier.
Yeah, they used to have all sorts of like little campus rail jams on the mountain. CB was super cool. They do little park shoots for us, sunset shoots. It was really cool.
Yeah.
And then it was really awesome to get involved with another team atmosphere. For me, before that, it was racing. Racing was cool just to be on the team, but it just wasn't my thing.
Like actual racing or
racing? Yeah, slalom and GS, which I'm so happy I did that because I got some just basic core skills down as far as skiing goes, and it gave me a good foundation to kind of work up after that in the park skiing. But yeah, the teams and all the friends I made out at Western were awesome. I had a couple small crews before that, but then definitely lifelong friends too that I met from being on the team. Gravy. Oh yeah.
Gravy Crew.
Dude, Gravy Crew. Shout out to Gravy Crew. If any of you guys are listening, you're all mostly snowboarders, but you might come across this. Those were my boys, dude. My homie Chip. If you don't know Chip, you should know Chip. But he always had a Jeep Cherokee loaded down for urban missions. He had the drop-ins, the shovels, bungee banshee, generator, lights, everything in there. And he would always be the hype man and get us up. We used to hit spots all the time around there. I think we hit every rail that was like feasible around campus, Monarch, Crested Butte. I miss those days. That's because I don't have a good urban crew. You got to have people that are down. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So when you went to Western, did you get straight on the team? Is that something you got to try out for? Or is it like a club where it's like, hey, anyone that wants to be in on this week, we can be in on this.
Anybody who wants to stick with it can get on it. Some people during like training definitely like weed themselves out real fast. But you could take 2 passes. You could be on the park pipe team. You could be on the all mountain team. And then sometimes the paths collided at events and trips. So that was really cool. At the peak of that program, man, there was like probably 60 people involved with both those teams. It was really cool. There's a lot of people involved. And then there's like Nordic kids and all that stuff too. But it was cool.
Nordic, cross country, freestyle, free ride. But those deteriorated.
Yeah, and they kind of morphed.
They still have such a strong, powerful free ride community and team there that goes around.
If you ever get a chance to go to Crested Butte, do it and just like stop in the middle of a run sometime and just look at everybody and just like everybody around there, just all around is just skis way harder than any other resorts just because Crested Butte's a fucking beast.
Yeah.
Just it's crazy.
So when you guys are going to school like Gunnison, so that's your home mountain, but that ain't like Crested Butte is not close to Gunnison, is it?
It is. 25 to 35.
Whoa, I thought it was way further out in the boonies.
A lot of like cool farm country, so you're just driving through farms and seeing cows and ranches between the 30-minute drive between Gunnison and Crested Butte. So all the people, the affordable people, the college kids are all living in Gunnison.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because Gunnison's a little cheaper than the mountain. And it's where all the parties are mainly happening. All the kids are congregated down there.
Land actually at Gunnison is going crazy. Like,
I'm
the
sure.
price is going up because Vail
the whole state,
bought out Crested Butte,
yep.
which means more development in
Sadly.
Gunnison, which is sad because that place was some of the cheapest rent I ever paid.
Yep.
Damn.
And also you got Black Canyon of the Gunnison, which is the only reason I've ever thought about going to Gunnison.
Yeah, there was all sorts of cool stuff around there. When I got out of the dorms, when I got up to school, the very first apartment complex that I signed a lease at gave me a free pass to Monarch, which is another ski area, just heading the opposite way out of town there. So that was super cool. So there's all sorts of little stuff that probably has gone away by now that made that place fucking awesome.
At Monarch, you could drop off non-perishable items, and they would give you a ticket.
Tickets, yeah. Yep.
And then you could also dress up as Santa, free ticket.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Right,
Monarch's
that.
OG, for sure.
Wow.
No high speeds, none of that shit. All old school vibes, not corporation owned. It's cool. We need more mountains like that.
Dude, as someone that's born and raised in Colorado, what do you think of Colorado folks? Because I definitely know the outsider's perspective.
Colorado folks, man.
I'll tell you right now, it's not a positive perspective. You guys can be a little bit annoying.
I would agree. Colorado, 20 years ago, it's probably different than, say, 40 years ago, but it's not the same people there. You get a lot of, what were you calling those dads, Barkley?
Black Diamond
Dads running around. Yeah, it's a whole different clientele. And I don't know if I just noticed it more with in the last, say, 5 years where the park scene kind of shifted a little bit more.
But the plus side of Colorado is, I feel like the park community is all very nice to each other.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'd say that probably anywhere.
But some places can get pretty cliquey.
Yeah.
Or
Brighton's one of the clickiest mountains there is.
Yeah.
Hands down.
No, I mean, there's definitely cliques out in Summit County across the board, but you're right. People are definitely more welcoming, for sure, because everyone's on the same page. I feel like anywhere, everybody could probably easily get on the same page, once you get to know people.
Yeah, dude. Twan's getting bullied at Brighton.
Not me, it's cut that out, yo.
We're beeping that part out. All right. Are there certain areas of Colorado where it's more Black Diamond Dad than others? Like, is there, like, what if you had, like, if there's, what's like we'll go positive before we really rip into the negative. Like, what's a good mountain to ride at where it's like people here are good, atmosphere is good, maybe it's affordable if that's even possible anymore. Like, where's the good area to ride at?
I mean, I think you got to take affordable out of that equation because everywhere's getting a little ridiculous, but I mean, Copper for sure. They even call it the Athlete's Mountain for a reason. It's crazy. It's a training ground. It's so cool. Unfortunately, it's pretty far of a drive for me, but I still make it out there. It's an hour each way for me. But we make it happen because it's so worth it every day. But that's the spot to be, 100%.
All right, let's get negative. What is the worst spot in Colorado?
The worst ski area?
Yeah, or just like you're going
Keystone and Breckenridge on a holiday weekend. Facts.
Facts. That is facts.
What's so bad about it?
Dude, they bus them in. They bus them in by the truckload. Spring break, 3 rounds, dude.
Everyone is just like the clogging. Everyone's seen
Yeah.
the viral video or viral
Like,
veil.
I don't have this problem or all the problems, but say you're coming up from Denver, talking 3 hours to get to the ski area. Then you get in the parking lot, and there's a line for the bus. You get to the bus takes you to the gondola. Gondola has a line. Then you get off the gondola to the lifts. Guess what's there waiting for you? Lines. You get on the lift, you get to the jumps, there's fucking lines. Those weekends are the worst, and it kills me. And it makes you not even want to go ski just because it gets so plugged up.
Yeah.
But that's the cool part is, yeah. The cool part is, I mean, you just go do something different. I do a lot of skinning. Well, not a whole lot, but enough. Seems like a lot because it's a lot of work, but I go do some skinning. You go hit some spots, still find some good powder.
Yeah.
But
We got to get you on some street spots next year, though.
yeah, yep. Been a little light on the street spots for sure. Found a couple cool ones out in South Park. A couple of rails that I'm eyeing up just that I drive by all the time with work and whatnot. But
Yeah,
that's the key. That's what I was talking about, dude. Bringing it back to having a good crew. Like, that's the tough part. Young Barks has his crew. He's got his roommates, but it's tough to link up sometimes. Get everybody on the same page, but
Yeah. Let's just stay on that same wave. What's another horrible spot in Colorado?
Colorado, dude.
State, bad.
Oh.
I was gonna say the entire I-70
corridor. Let me just tell you, I drove up that bitch every chance I could and wasted hours of my life on that thing.
You did waste a lot of hours, and I was amazed because I would not be able to handle that. I specifically live on the other side the other road, per se, out of Summit County, because I like it out there. It's kind of like, I like going to Disneyland. I don't like living in Disneyland kind of thing, you know? So I like being out in the woods, being on that side of the pass. It's at least consistent. It's a consistent rip all the time. It's never blown out.
You have one of the most peaceful, calm little compounds. I call it the Pucherelli Palace.
Don't they keep it open because of military too?
Yeah, it's a military route out of Alma and Breck, so it's always open. There's definitely some sketchy days, especially with 285, that whole zone out there.
You should talk about your garden.
Yeah, let's talk about your little compound. I mean, I could sit here and shit on Colorado all day long. I think it's just fun topic. It just
is
and,
fun.
and it's really bottomless. You could say a million negative things about Colorado and the people that live there. But you know what? We have a couple people in here that live in
Let's
Colorado,
see.
and they're good folks. But tell everybody about your compound. Because,
Compound, dude.
yeah.
I'm renting to own a cabin up there. It's on 3 acres, super nice, super secluded. Generally pretty nice part of the county. It's kind of a little bit of a rough area. Wild West, you might call it. Yeah, we got pretty nice pad, 2-story, little house there, garage, greenhouse. Got a big open area for the winter months. I have my tube set up there. It's always got something set up. October, made it till I think the couple days shy of May this year. Actually, the snowpack was a little rough before it started melting out.
Then it turns into the Pucherelli PVC Palace.
Yeah, exactly. During that time, for sure. Yeah, no, it's nice for sure. Like when COVID hit and they shut everything down, you know, everyone's like afraid to go do anything. Just sat out there and made just setups every day, different setups, practice switch ups, just fun in the sun. It was awesome. So it was a good spot to be. I'm happy with it.
Yeah. Dude, honestly, Dom's my inspiration for, like, this party never needs to end, you know? I joke around that you're 30, and which is like, everyone's like, oh, that's old. That's, like, not old at all, but it's kind of sick that you're at Spring Pass and you're ripping PVC pipes at, like, in your late 20s. That's just so, I love it.
Yeah, I just try to keep it alive as much as I can, dude. I love being in the mountains. Even, like, I told Barkley, he's like, how many? We were talking about how many days we were gonna ski and all that shit, and he's like, oh, dude, you could get like 15 days instead of just 14. Like, I'm like, dude, if I went up there and skied one run at Hood, I'd be hyped. Like, that's all I need. Like, just whenever I can, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, you get a little older. Just got sick of like struggling for money. Like I was telling you, I was working night shifts, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I had to make a big switch up, and so that's now that segues into how I feel like sometimes I have a double life. Normal job, functional member of society, a couple days of the week, and then just ski bum on the weekends, you know.
Yeah.
And then work hard as hell in the summer, so I can do that each winter and have a good time.
Let's talk about, like, the pre-double life. When you were on the ski team,
Good times.
and then you became the coach, picked up by Atlantic. Tell everybody about that period of time.
Dude, that was a fun. That probably covers like 4 or 5 years. It's easy, but the ski team, man, I had a good time. I went up to Western, got on the team, stuck with it like everywhere we went, man. It was just such a fun time. We do extended weekends. Living out there is just so nice to go to a different mountain too. Like if you ski, say 100 days at Crested Butte, like you were just ready to go hit something else. You know what I mean? Yeah. So everywhere we went was just sick. We went, I mean, all over Colorado. We went East Coast, West Coast. Had awesome trips, man.
Yeah.
That's what really got me hyped. And then I was so stoked too, because just to go hit different parks and see these different mountains. Like at that time, you know, there wasn't like, dude, Instagram was like new at that time. Like you couldn't just see clips from all those places, which is kind of crazy to think about.
New schoolers. It was all
Dude,
new schoolers, dude.
I remember we were at, I don't even know, man, maybe like my sophomore year of college. Like you were talking about one of those Western rail jams. I remember one kid just like said something like, I just overheard it. It was the weirdest thing, just kind of when you're just zoning out and you just listen to other people every now and then. He was just saying, oh, Instagram, you don't even know what Instagram is? and like he was just talking to all these people, and it was like a brand new app, like just fresh out. So I just thought that was funny. Like there wasn't, clips every day getting dropped in your face, so you didn't get to see all these places. And even for me, I only skied a couple of different mountains when I was growing up. So even to go to other mountains in Colorado and see these parks, that got me stoked.
Yeah.
And just fed the hunger through college, man, just to go ski as much as we could. I would always try to put together a real nice spring break for the boys. Try to be the ringleader and just go on a trip. And we kept it alive for as long as possible. Still trying to keep it alive as long as possible. Every year I've done a pretty sick spring break trip. Literally pick like the same 2 weeks as if I was in school and just try to set that time aside every year and do a cool trip. That being said, this year I decided not to do that because I knew I needed to go to Hood this year. And this was going to fall in that place, in that little 2-week gap.
Yeah.
So,
was there any reason why this one was special?
This time.
Like, was there any reason why this one was special as opposed to doing it in March? I mean, obviously you can't do this what we're doing now in March.
Well, obviously, traditional spring break there in March. You can't beat that. But I just heard how Hood was in the past, these last couple of years. Like I said, it was a wild time, so I had to come check it out. And I've been wanting to ski Hood. I mean, talk about all the old edits that used to come out of here.
All the Swindell session edits.
Dude.
Remember the session edits that came out every week?
Yeah. Yep.
Like sure. Tom Wallish on Amplids.
Yeah.
Remember that era?
100%, dude.
That was sick with Pretty Lights edits.
So Far So Hood.
So Far So Hood,
dude. Like all
one of the sickest edits of all time.
I know. That's what I'm saying, dude. Like that.
Dale Talkington.
Mm-hmm.
One of the sickest edits of all time at Hood.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, I remember he was like blasting like cork nines off the knuckles of the jumps and shit.
Yeah, all the clips.
Dude, there's too much to even.
So many clips.
But it's been actually on my bucket list to get up here. I don't know why it took me so long, but just been. Normally, it just boils down to work and ski. Being able to fun skiing and make something happen. So.
Yeah. Talk about the sponsorship grind. Getting picked up, looking for sponsors, how it's changed over the years, what you've seen.
How it's changed.
Because I was joking today filming iPhone clips. Or maybe it was yesterday. Yeah. Hey, we're making a sponsor me tape.
That's exactly that's what it used to be, was sponsor me tapes. Everybody was making season edits. Like I remember all my buddies, like that was a cool thing. Even if it was a couple minutes, like they'd have a season edit, put all the clips together. I still try to do that. Honestly, just because now that I'm older, I'm looking back at those edits, I'm like, holy shit, like I don't even remember that, and it's cool to watch the progression through them all.
Yeah.
So I still try to do that, even if it's, 5-minute long edit or something, so season edit at the end of the year. So I think that's one way, for sure.
Yeah, you and Barkley are very similar in that way, in that even though, it's not required anymore, you guys still do it for the love of it.
Yeah. Yep. And it's fun. I mean, it's super fun. The number one thing that I love about skiing is that it takes you to places that you may never go. Like for me, I've been to countries, a couple other countries skiing, obviously different states, and it's cool because I don't know if I would have went to Government Camp Oregon. I might have went somewhere else.
Yeah.
If it wasn't that they were skiing here, That's the coolest part, just all the different places, dude. Dude,
it's funny. Skiing makes you do some funny stuff. Like I consider the road trip out here part of skiing. Mm-hmm. Like when I'm going to Badlands on my road trip out here, for me that's part of the sport of skiing, which is I think is the most common example of that is après skiing. Like they think people are like, oh yeah, the bar afterwards is part of the sport. Dude, I think every single thing leading up to or following skiing is part of the sport.
Dom could tell you some funny ass stories about après in Germany. Switzerland, or wherever the fuck you were.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's hear something like that.
Honestly, Europe, it's got the best operas, dude. Like, the coolest part is you can finish up your run, and you just ski in, and the run out to, the tram or whatever to get off the mountain goes past all the bars. So it's like you just click off your skis and you're there, and it's so easy to lose track of time, Like, that feeling after you're done skiing, you just get so much adrenaline.
Yeah.
Before, after a couple hours after skiing or whatever. But had the best spots, dude. All the best little bars. You would get hammered. Like, you would lose track of time. It would be midnight, 2 in the morning. And then the best part, then you ski home, dude. And it's like every night after partying. Then you just, like, it's funny. Everyone's trying to click into their skis, crashing all over the place, dude. You're literally laughing the entire way out. And that's like the funnest shit. But you never know what you're going to run into.
Yeah. I forgot how we even ended up there. There's some weird air flowing around in this RV.
Yeah.
Sponsorships. Let's get back to that.
Yeah.
Getting back to being sponsored. Hella spons, dude.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hella sponsed. Insane. Yeah. I would say I just came from a different time, man. Like, it was...
Yes, that's how we got to this. Yeah.
I mean, you go to the mountain... If you're skiing there, you go to a place like this, you stay here for a week or two, you like are seeing the best skiers. You're not seeing it because you saw it on Instagram. It's like, these are the people ripping here. This may be a bad example because, like, obviously everybody congregates here, but like just any mountain that you would go to, like, you see, oh man, that dude is killing it.
Local pro, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I come from those days, and that kind of networking, more than just fire off as many clips as you can, just reach as many people. Like, it was just kind of how I linked up with those guys. Like, they were a Colorado brand out of Golden, Colorado. These guys grew up in Colorado. They're all super chill. Just kind of got to know a lot of them. Shout out Ashley, dude. Came out to Crested Butte, met up with me. We were both hyped, and that's kind of how I got my foot in the door with Icelandic. They've always been pretty good to me, man, in all reality. Hooking it up with skis, I'm always just making edits. They don't ask too much. I don't ask too much of them, but the opportunity is always there, and everybody involved with that company are like true badasses, man. Like, not just skiing wise, or like, oh, you're the coolest dude, but like
Travis.
you're talking like
Travis Parr.
Yeah.
He's a badass.
Like, yeah, exactly. You're talking
Travis
insane
Parr makes
artists.
the graphics, and you can correct me if
Yeah.
I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure he co-founded.
Yeah, he's been
company.
there since day one for
Yeah.
sure. They're insane artists, insane athletes, insane runners, insane skiers, fearless people, like, across the board. And it's like amazing. Like, I feel like I don't even fit in that. Like, how am I even involved with that? Because they're like superhumans. It's crazy. But all super nice people, super welcoming, done a lot of fun trips, fun events with them.
Huge
shout out.
You met up with this Ashley girl?
Yeah.
And she was like,
Ashley's a guy.
Ashley guy?
My boy, shout out. He knows. I met up with him, so I really got my foot in the door. I heard that actually they were doing some hiring with a couple of their jobs. I think it was marketing. This was so long ago, but it was marketing. And I pretty much was just sending them stuff. I even sent them like little sponsoring videos. Probably so stupid now, but who knows? That could have been the key turned right there. But Ashley came out of the woodwork and just said, dude, this is not the job you want. Like, you clearly just want to ski for us. And he hooked me up kind of more of a rep or ambassador kind of job with them. And it was always really sick, hooking it up with skis. And then it's been the last, I think, 4 or 5 years now that I actually was signing like contracts with them, and get a little bit more opportunity, to go on some trips, be a little more involved, send them certain amount of content. All that kind of
can we
stuff.
talk about that a little bit? We were talking about that in a lot after skiing the other day, like just what the companies. You could talk vague if you want to, unless you want to talk specifics, but just like what companies are asking for like a sponsored athlete.
I have to do a certain amount of high-res and low-res photos each month and through the ski season. I have to do a certain amount of Instagram posts. And the cool part about like everything that they're asking me to do, like I was already doing anyways, so it didn't even matter, So it was all pretty easy. But and tag them whenever and just spread the buzz about Icelandic skis, which I really do like them. Me being a big dude, I've torn up so many skis. So many. I have piles of skis at my house. I never got rid of any of them. I have just piles. Because I want to make sick fence, sick piece of artwork, something with all of them. I can already see like the past like 5 or 6 years of Nomad lines all lined up. I want to do something like that because each one of those is like a memory for me. Every like nick in there, every stupid fucking PBR sticker I put on my skis or whatever it was, is just a memory and like a phase for me. And I'm stoked that I have that whole pile.
It's good to keep
there.
skis.
Yeah, but
I feel like you shouldn't.
if I had to move, dude, like that's a pain. It's a pain in the ass. But I got a shitload of skis.
Stashed all over the country.
Yeah. Yeah,
Dude.
exactly.
So I feel like, so speaking of one of our guests in the room, you were Barkley's coach at one point. You went from the team and then you went up to coaching.
So we'll swing back to the team.
So let's talk about
team
that.
there.
Coach Dom.
Dude, the team. So yeah, I was on the team for 4 years. I graduated. I stayed in Gunnison for a little longer. I was still doing the night shifts at that time, trying to get away from that.
Night shift doing what? I don't know if we specified
Oh,
that.
the old night shift. If you don't know, everybody knows. Everyone's done one. Yeah, night shifts. That was fun while it lasted. I literally spent like a couple years just working nights. So I would work pretty much from like 4 to 1 o'clock in the morning, ish. So I'd ski all winter. First thing in the morning, I go to class for 2-3 hours. Then I'll go ski, pop my skis off. I'm instantly at work, doing maintenance at hotels up there. So doing all sorts of different stuff. Fixing pipes, drywall, just stupid shit. Most of the time we were just baked and honestly breaking shit. There's just kind of like there's not the right workers involved with all those hotels, but it was a good time. We pretty much fucked around that entire time. It was I don't know. I just needed to change. I wanted to stay involved with the team. Bring it back to the team there. I wanted to stay involved with them, so I got I pretty much said I want to stay involved, and basically they put me in. Everybody says coach, but it's kind of like a manager's position. There was a couple of us running around with the teams, but that was a really fun year with those kids. It was cool because at that time, dude, a lot of these, like especially Barkley, at that time just taking off, like student superseding the master, right, kind of situation. So it was cool. Like they were making me ski better. That group atmosphere on a trip, man, you create bonds that you'll never forget. Like a couple of those trips, man, just like 10-day stints all over the country. Like those were the best times ever.
Facts.
I wanna ask Barkley something really quick. So he was your coach at one point, and obviously you guys are great friends now. Is there anything you want to ask him about his time as a coach that you've never asked him before?
Better not ask about that lamp, dude.
Yeah, Dom broke some fucking lamps at some condos in the cliff. The person who overseed the ski program pulled Dom in the office and tore him a new one because we rolled spliffs on our trophy, and Dom broke the lamp in our condo, and we got a fine for it. But shout out to Nationals because we got trashed. I was gonna ask.
So that was the trip he's referring to is down at Mount Bachelor. It's a pretty wild time. We skated by pretty good throughout those 10 days or so. I was the only one that actually broke something at the the condo, so it didn't look good that the coach, like everybody thought somebody else broke it, but I knew that I broke it, and I wasn't gonna like say, try to point fingers or anything like that. I'm not really sure what happened after we rolled out because I thought we hid the lamp. Did not go well for me. Creeped up like a week and a half later after we got back, and I just got reamed. Apparently the hotel staff took some photos of the room and sent it to us because we were involved with the school. It's not good. They would get calls all the time and stuff like that, like, oh, there's a Western van out here by the liquor store or something like that. Like it was just constant. So I'm not surprised that happened, but it caught me off guard for sure. But that's like the cherry on top of a pretty awesome trip that we had there. We were all competing. Everybody was throwing down. It was literally like 65 degrees at Bachelor that entire time. It was insane. Like kind of like what we're living through right now, just way warmer. It was definitely a sicker park at that time. That year that we were up there, it was probably like 2015-ish. years. Yeah.
Did you think of your question you wanted to ask him, Bark?
Which trip did you get the drunkest on?
The drunkest on. Yeah, honestly, that one was pretty. That was pretty bad. We had it's like 22 hours in that van to drive back. Everybody was so hungover. Like most, the van was like still drunk actually, because
We lost people at the strip club.
Yeah, one of our kids got maced
We gotta
at the
get
strip club.
back in the
That
strip
wasn't
club.
good.
We gotta get back in the van to go back to school. And
Yep.
we had a school van. And
Yep.
we were
I
trying
had-
to go into strip clubs.
Did you go to?
Yeah.
Did you go to Whiteface? I think that was like right before
No.
you. We had a
Missed that.
sick. I had never skied the East Coast, dude, and I had a blast out there. Whiteface, you ever been there?
I've never been there,
Ice
but
face?
I heard it's like pretty gnarly.
Yeah,
Upstate
some
New
wicked
York.
boilerplate.
I don't know if they talk like that
Dude,
in
that's
upstate
exactly
New York.
what they say.
what they said?
Everybody comes up from the city and says that.
From the city,
Yeah.
dude. Talking
Yep.
about people that are annoying New York City.
Calling the
God
ice, dude,
damn,
boilerplate.
bro. Those people suck.
You haven't heard that? I'm surprised.
No, I like that though. That sounds more like a Boston thing.
Wicked.
Well,
Wicked.
it's more of a New York thing.
No, it isn't. It's a Boston thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm from Boston.
Learn something new every day.
Yeah, sorry.
We're gonna get a Twan episode going soon. Who
Yeah.
knows if it'll be
Oh,
released to
man.
the public?
No, please.
He can't do it. He can't do it. All right. What else do we want to know? Oh yeah. So when you transitioned from being like an ambassador to a sponsored athlete signing contracts? What was that like in terms of how you were feeling? Just like on accomplishment mode. Like
Dude,
just,
I remember.
Yeah.
I remember when they actually gave me the opportunity to sign a contract with them. I was pretty stoked. Like again, didn't change an insane lot of like what I had to do, but it kind of would help put me a little bit more on the map, grow my ability, grow my friend group. Skiing is a lot of networking for sure, especially nowadays, dude. Like, what are you doing, right? It's all just networking.
I was all just talking to people.
All of it.
Yeah.
It's crazy nowadays. But yeah, that I remember when I got that phone call, dude. I was so hyped. Like I was sitting in the truck by myself. I was so hyped. But
Hell yeah.
yeah, no, it was legit. Definitely legit. It was a good feeling. If you get involved with any companies, it's like that you're seriously stoked in, something that kind of you want to rep. Just stick with it. Stick with it. I mean, you may be amazed how long you're involved with a company, and what could come up one year versus another.
Dude.
Like, speaking of that,
Yeah, go ahead.
back when I was a freshman in college, it's pretty young, 18, I got a deal with Planks for a year. Planks Clothing.
English
that-
company, no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And they were telling me, they was like, dude, we're going to be big. We're going to blow up. It's going to be crazy. I remember them saying that for like 2 years, man. They're like, we're doing that. And I was like, there's no way you're doing all that. And then now
They're huge.
they're doing a ton of stuff. Like, it's not just, socks and hats. Like when they started back then, now they got everything. They got outerwear, jackets,
Well-
pants, everything across the board. So what I'm saying, bringing it back, is seize the opportunity, because that could have been, a serious deal, especially if I was, knowing those guys for 10 years.
Yeah.
But
I
I'm
mean,
just
to your
saying,
credit-
it could be
to
any
your
company,
credit,
anything
dude.
that could come up,
Anyone can talk big. Anyone can say, hey, we have this idea, that idea. That's why everyone feels like they're special. Because everyone's
Yeah.
got amazing, groundbreaking, earth-shattering,
Yeah.
million-dollar ideas.
Yeah.
The difference between the people that make it and that don't are the ones that execute on those
Exactly.
ideas. Everybody's
And
got
it's
ideas,
easy.
dude.
It's easy not to execute, man, for sure.
It's easy.
Yeah.
Dude, the can-doers and can-doers, second episode in this series we're talking about.
Yeah,
Dude.
exactly.
So I don't blame you for not believing
Yeah.
at first, but yeah, that's kind of sick. What's the today, talking 2023? What's the interaction like with the other athletes? You guys doing team shoots? Like, how cohesive is this unit that you're working with?
I mean, the unit is definitely a core group of people that been together for a long time, for sure, and it's cool. They're on their own, vibe completely. They have all their trips. They're doing all their stuff that they're always willing to let many people tag along. They're always doing separate events. They do so much for the community down there. It's really cool. They're all awesome, and they're it's kind of always kind of ever growing. Lose a couple people that fall off, that kind of situation, but everybody's pretty much on the same page. But like I said, man, there's some warriors out there. It's crazy. I don't know if I just feel out of shape, but some of those guys, man, are true superhumans. It's crazy. Like you're talking, let's go for a hike, and they just run up an entire 14er. Like you guys all know who you are. My sister. Oh my God, everybody, dude. It's
Count
insane.
me out of that, dude. I
I
want
know.
no part
I can't even
of
do it,
that
even if it was life or
dude.
death. I couldn't make it without stopping. They're just ripping, man. So it's cool. They're all jacks of all trades,
Yeah. Hell yeah. Well, dude, we're at modern times. We're at 2023 for you and your story.
Yeah. Yep. Now we're keeping the spring vibe alive up here in Hood.
Oh wait, double
awesome.
life. I don't want to skip over that because we kind of went back to how you were doing the
Double
night
life.
shift. So double life. So sponsored by Atlantic.
Yeah.
What's your regular Dom job? You're just another average
just
Joe.
an average guy
Yeah.
during a couple days out of the week, 4 days a week. Yeah. So I brought up the night shifts because I wanted to get away from that. I wanted to get a day job, have a normal schedule that's somewhat flexible, and get out of the Gunnison Valley for a little bit. That's a cool place, but you could show up there after being gone for 5 years and pick up right where you left off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You say that about any small town. I like small towns. Gunnison's sweet, but I had to move on. Fairplay's kind of weird in its own way. Gunny's got some better aspects, but so I moved out there, got a job with the county. I do inspections during the day, so I'm dealing with just contractors, new builds, people who are in trouble with the county. I deal with all sorts of crazy stuff. And again, this is like way rural Colorado we're talking about, where you have a lot of anti-government people, sovereign people. So it's kind of crazy, but
Hell
honestly,
yeah.
it sounds
Hell yeah,
it
dude.
sounds weird.
My kind of people.
It sounds weird, but it is my kind of people, dude. The fucking just forest people from the woods,
Bear with
Like
me
I
with
grew
this.
up in the woods,
Yeah.
like not these kind of crazy woods that are out here in the Pacific Northwest, but it's different kind of woods, rural area. The people are their own breed. You do get some interesting ones from time to time, but for the most part, like it's a pretty chill job. I get to do a lot of driving, but that's where I say I live a double life, because that and skiing, it's cool that I can do both, have insurance, make money, and then kind of be able to balance it. But obviously, it gets to be a fine line quick where one could take over the other. So yeah, but I'm got enough flexibility now where I got a pretty good grasp on it, so I'm stoked to be able to do what I'm wanting to do like 12 years later from when I really started skiing. It's insane.
Yeah. Do you feel like when you're going up to a house and you're inspecting and you gotta tell this anti-government person, hey, you better make sure that the slats in your porch aren't greater than 6 inches wide, or else the government's going to come in and fine you until we throw you in jail. Do you feel like a cop that likes to smoke weed? Like you're like, I feel bad saying this, but I got to do it. Like,
dude, this is not East Coast. Your lawn's too long, kind of like rules and regulations. Like this stuff it's like safety violations and say imminent health hazards.
Like your porch doesn't have a support beam type of hazards.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. And then some complaints, like some people are ridiculous, dude. Like they dig their heels in and are doing crazy stuff out there.
Like, do you have any example?
Yeah, tell a story. Tell a story about the craziest motherfucker you ran into and pull up with cops.
Oh, I've been up to a bunch. Just one quick one off the top of my head that always comes to my head is there's this dude living in a camper. I thought it was Ryan here for a little bit, but it wasn't. It was somebody else. This dude was just a ex-military guy. There's so many people with a lot of drug and alcohol problems. This guy was just kind of not all there, but he just had a big old RV like this size, and it was just full floor to ceiling with fucking AR-15s. And even the sheriffs are like, yeah, like we're not gonna kick him out. We're just gonna call him a sleeping duck. So just leave him alone. Just leave him alone. If he's not causing a problem, just leave him there. Like nobody want to mess with him. Like we deal with that kind of stuff, like just people trying to bug out. But really, a lot of it's like drug and alcohol stuff. Like people living in sheds and they have a mound of like tequila bottles outside the shed door. Like they just like it seems like their family doesn't even know where to put them. Like kind of people because the land is so cheap and it's not. You're not near the grid in a lot of places. It's beautiful, but for like ranching, you know.
Yeah.
So like there's a lot of ranches that got subdivided and they're just it's cheap properties. You never know what you're gonna run into.
Dude, this might be a bit too macro of a thought, but isn't it crazy that like in the most beautiful places, we were talking about this with Barkley last night, like talking about like some like severe depression in Alaska or like just like like you were just saying, these people living in a shed.
That's gotta
like,
be on a scale way different because
no, but what I'm getting at is like just like this like utter like misery and like a living hell in the most like some of the most beautiful places on earth.
Yeah. So like I mean I have to unfortunately be the bearer of bad news on a lot of stuff like failing inspections and those kind of things, but like it is what it is. You gotta just deal with it, and that's like a lot of times that's why people don't like government. Obviously nobody likes being told what to do and everybody hates paperwork. You gotta do that shit, but you gotta be the bearer of bad news sometimes. So I honestly I feel bad about some of the stuff I've had to do, but it's part of the job. Everyone's got a job to do, whether it's like snowballs and fucking lift line, cutting that shit out, or it's putting a red tag on a project until we get something sorted out. So it's interesting, but I have truly helped some people I know. Like sometimes your situation has to get worse before it gets better. So it's like this is not the place that's going to be helpful for you. So like kind of move them on. And there has been some like people are living rough, like some of those. Like I've had people living in garbage and shit, like just piles of garbage and pallets and trash from the dump, and digging trenches in the ground, building a tent under it, and like trying to live there off of like milk and potatoes. That's crazy, dude. Like none of that. That's all real. I'm not throwing lies at you, like
no, I
young
completely
Barks
believe it.
might, but
Barkley lies through his teeth. I don't know if a single thing he said in this episode was real.
Yeah,
but dude, we were talking
I'm gonna
about
write a memoir on that. That's a whole separate thing. I'm writing a memoir on all my experiences.
Just dealing with the public.
So
dude,
many.
I've talked about the podcast before.
Dude, that's exactly it.
Dealing with the public.
Dealing with the public. Oh my god. Yeah, I can't handle
anyone who does it will say the same thing. The public's crazy, dude.
That's part of why I live where I live, dude, because I like to just be away from it all. And probably in the next like 25 years of my life, I'll probably sink deeper into the woods, and hopefully sit on more acres. And that's
dude,
the goal.
It's crazy.
That's my goal.
The people that slip through the cracks of polite, educated society.
Yeah,
dude, you work for the local government. You're doing housing inspections. You work at a hospital.
And
you
the
work
government
at a court. Dude, you're seeing every single person that's hidden away in everyday life. Those people got to deal with the hospital. They got to deal with Dom showing up to their house saying that, hey, you can't live in a pile of trash, buddy.
Yeah.
Damn government showing up.
Yep.
Ruining all the fun.
Yep. And that government, dude, has paid me to be up here for a couple weeks. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, Dom's taking some PTO.
Got that shit figured out. Government's paying me to stay in government camp.
Figure that out.
Hell yeah. So we're getting close to the time to wrap it all up. We got a birthday to celebrate in the camp.
Yeah, we do have a birthday.
Shout
out Annabelle.
Yeah, shout out Annabelle.
Shout out Annabelle.
Hey, any last minute viewer questions for Coach Dom here? Quick one.
Dream trick.
Dream trick. Man, I wish I could just have a dirty cork 9 blunt. I've always wanted that trick, and I've always just been a little off, a little shaky, not corked enough, missed a grab. I want to dial that in for sure.
Hell yeah.
Sure.
Dom just claimed it for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Cork
he's going cork.
Helmet rule is in effect.
Tomorrow Dom will be corking.
I didn't say it that I'm stomping that shit. I'm saying that'd be where I want to be dialed up to.
We're going to wrap this up. Dom, thank you very much for coming on. That was beautiful.
Time for you to get a shirt on, dude.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.